Somewhere along the way, leadership got confused with oversight, correction, direction, making sure everyone was doing things the right way. And the most important thing a leader actually does got quietly left out of the conversation. Welcome to Daily Power Boost. I'm Shawn Michael. This isn't a podcast about pushing harder or fixing yourself. It's a space to see clearly how your experience is actually being created. Each episode offers a simple shift in understanding. Not a tactic, not a hustle. A clearer view of thought, identity, and the patterns you've been living inside. Because when misunderstanding drops, relief rises, energy returns. You move forward with calm, sovereign clarity. This is your Daily Power Boost. Welcome back to Daily Power Boost. Last time we talked about the leader who doesn't need to prove anything. How that absence of need changes the entire quality of what gets built around them. Today, I want to look into the mechanism behind that. There's a specific reason why some leaders create followers and others create people who can eventually lead without them. The difference isn't strategy, it's not skill. It's whether they're managing behavior or modeling identity. Managing, it's easier to understand because it's visible. You set expectations, monitor outcomes, correct when things drift. It's necessary, no arguments. But it has a limit. Managed behavior only holds as long as management is present. The moment that disappears, people revert to whatever their own identity authorizes. Which means if you want to change what people do, managing will get you compliance. But if you want to change who people become, that's a different kind of influence entirely. Modeling, that's harder to understand because it's invisible. It's not a technique you can apply. It's a standard you live. It works through a mechanism you might not have consciously considered. People don't primarily learn from what you tell them. They learn from what they see you tolerate, what they see you prioritize, how you act when the comfortable option and the right option are not the same thing. That's the curriculum. Not feedback sessions, performance reviews, or even vision statements. That daily, unremarkable, unannounced behavior of the person driving the ship. Here's what makes this specifically an identity issue rather than a leadership technique. You can't model what you haven't integrated. You might be able to perform it briefly, under observation in a high-stakes moment, when you're paying attention to exactly how you're coming across. Performance will never hold in unguarded moments, and those moments are exactly where real modeling happens. The way you handle a setback when no one important is watching. Standards you hold when it would be easier to let something slide. Or simply your presence that you bring to the person in front of you when you're tired and the conversation feels like low stakes. That's what gets transmitted, not the speech or the fancy words, your standard. What does it look like when a leader has shifted from managing to modeling? They stop repeating themselves. The evidence is in the silence where the reminders used to be. There's a difference between a team that does the right thing because someone is watching and a team that does the right thing because that's who they've become. The first requires constant maintenance. The second builds on itself. A leader who creates the second kind of team isn't doing more, they're being more consistently. They're not asking anyone to go be or do anything they haven't already. It's not from perfection. It's simply congruence. And that congruence sustained over time is the most powerful leadership force there is. Instead of requiring buy-in, it generates it. Today's one question. Think about the gap between what you're expecting from the people around you and what you're currently modeling for them. And ask yourself honestly, am I modeling this or managing toward it? If your answer is managing, you don't need to ask how do you communicate the standard more clearly. Your real question, am I living in the standards I say I expect? That's the more honest starting point. If you're leading people and sensing that the influence isn't quite reaching where you want it to, the gap, it's almost never in the message. It's in the distance between what you're asking for and what you're currently modeling. Locating that gap precisely is something we can do on a clarity call. Check the show notes for a link. Next time, the identity standard that operates when no one is watching. The one that either confirms or contradicts everything you've been building. That's our block closer, and it's worth showing up for. With strength and heart, I'm Shawn Michael. Stay close. Thanks for tuning in to Daily Power Boost. Ignite your potential. Remember, transformation starts with action. So take today's insight, make it your own, and awaken your inner potential. Because remember, greatness begins within. Catch you tomorrow for your next Power Boost.